Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Deep True Crime. I'm Manny Rodriguez. In today's episode, I want to share with you some not so very great news. As we know, Nicola Bulley has been missing for over 3 weeks. Well, they found a body on Sunday morning where she was last seen in that area, River Wyre, and it was not good. And so we're going to dive into what we know at this time and who found her. Was it an actual psychic? Let's dive into what we know at this time. Police have confirmed that the body that was found in the River Wyre is the mother of two, Nicola Bulley. Police had a press conference today, and that's exactly what they were sharing. Her body was found on Sunday morning in the River Wyre in Lancashire, around a mile from where she was last seen. Speaking at a press briefing at the police headquarters today, Assistant Chief Constable Peter Lawson, he confirmed that the body has been identified as Miss Bulley. In a statement, Miss Bulley's family said she was the center of our world, adding they would never be able to comprehend what Nikki had gone through in her last moments, and that will never leave us. That's what the family has shared. They also said that we will never forget Nikki. How could we? She was the center of our world. She was the one who made our lives so special, and nothing will cast a shadow over that. And as we know, she was last seen walking her dog, and then she had just vanished, and no one had answers as to what happened here. And the family, they're sharing, our girls will get the support they need from the people who love them the most. Assistant Chief Constable Peter Lawson said, sadly, we are now able to confirm that yesterday we recovered Nicola Bulley from the River Wyre. Nicola, they have been informed, her family has been informed, and of course they are absolutely devastated. And, truth is, this is hard to comprehend. We don't know why something like this. We don't know what's going on just yet. We do know that this missing mother of three, missing mom of two, she's been missing for almost a month. And now the healing begins. But are there still answers needed? I'm going to say yes. What led to this? What led to her death? Did she drown? We will find that out as well. But the family, when they were informed of this, they were sharing how much that she has affected their lives, including her partner, Paul Ansell. He said, no words right now, just agony. We're all together. We have to be strong. That's where it's so hard to understand what went wrong here. It is understood that a man and a woman are the ones to have discovered that she was in the water. She was in the river. And so they discovered the body, and then they called police. Lancashire Constable, he said officers were called to the River Wyre close to Rawcliffe Road at around 11:35 a.m. And an underwater search team and specialist officers, they had subsequently attended the scene, entered the water, and have sadly recovered a body. That's what the statement had read. The body was found on a stretch of the river just past a slight bend, about a mile or so outside the river, close to where a tree had fallen on its side, half in and half outside the water, with branches and undergrowth partially inside that water. Now, police, they said earlier, they had earlier put together a tent and cordoned off the lane while police divers were called in to do their part. But the road, it was reopened about 3 hours later once the body had been recovered. Here, you can see a person pointing to a body, to what at that time looked to be a body. And this is said to be the person who that something led them to that moment. Something led them to go check this area. This is a dog walker who is pointing out a spot in the River Wyre in Lancashire as police arrive on the scene there when he's pointing it out. And you can see even two people sitting next to him or next to the person who's pointing it out. Now we're figuring out, like, okay, who were those people that had found the body? Now, what we don't know, we don't know everything yet. We do know in a press conference last week, they revealed that the mother of two was classed as a high-risk missing person immediately after her partner, Mr. Ansell, had reported her disappearance. And this was based on a number of specific vulnerabilities as described because of the high risk, because of the alcohol that was involved. And now a public backlash and interventions from the government and Shadow Home Secretary Yvette Cooper had followed with trying to understand, like, why did all this stuff come out? Was it purposeful? Did it help? And so that was in a statement that Ms. Bulley from Inskip in Lancashire had stopped taking her HRT medication. And as of now, this is still breaking news. We're still finding out about what has come about, including the person that's pointing this out. This is what they refer to as a medium. That is the person who is said to have found Nicola Bulley's body and had been using his so-called, as he would refer to it, as gift to try and help in the search for the missing mother of two. Now, this person is said to be a spiritual medium and said to be the person that found the body of the mother of two, Nicola Bulley, in the River Wyre. Jason Rothwell, and that is his name. Now, the bench you see here is where she was last seen, or should I say her stuff was found. Literally was found on that bench. She had her phone that was still connected to a conference call. She had her dog that was running without his leash, but the leash was said to have been found there. And then Mr. Rothwell was not too far searching, as you can see in pictures here, pointing to the waters where Lancashire Police had massed yesterday afternoon on Sunday, again, February 19th. And he and his friend, they had literally been searching according to a calling he had. And so this marks the latest development in this crazy search for Miss Bulley. This is before the police press conference that came as well. And it confirmed it is the missing 45-year-old's body, Nicola Bulley. Now, Mr. Rothwell, he is from Oldham, and he said before the conference that it is with great regret that I have to address this issue at this time. But due to wide number of private inquiries and threads now circulating on YouTube and TikTok, I feel I should put a brief statement. I feel I should put a brief statement. That's what it says as I'm sharing with you part of the article, because that's what he is sharing. Now, you can see by this picture here, as I shared the bench that you just saw, January 27th, this is the bench where Nicola's phone and dog were found. And then not too far, about a mile less than a mile and a half, the body was found in the river there. And as you know, there have been searches along this way by the police. One person was even arrested for sharing video. They were told to stop video. They continued to video, and they were arrested. And now we find that maybe there was help in finding this mom of two's body out there, because they have been putting out even ribbons on the bridge. You can see police crossing this bridge, praying for a safe return. They were holding out until they knew, and now they know. But they were holding out. They were putting ribbons in her memory. Love you, Nikki. We love you all. They were holding out for a safe return. You can even see people putting a ribbon on the bridge, which is right there in that park, or right next to the River Wyre. Maybe this bridge goes into it. I should have checked that. But you can see the ribbons all across this bridge. But this is the medium who is said to have had the calling, Mr. Rothwell. He says, such as it is it would be inappropriate of me to discuss in any further detail anything we may know about that body at this time, considering a formal identification of that body has yet to be confirmed. It has since been confirmed, but at that time, it had yet to be confirmed. But those were his words. He also shared, I would also like to just say a huge thank you to Lancashire Police for their help, support, and the open-mindedness with which they dealt with us. Following our call, spiritualists or mediums are obviously not something the police come across every day, and I appreciate the respect given to us both. And let me share with you that I'm just sharing what he is sharing. I'm just relaying the information that I have received through the media, through multiple sources of the media. And so I don't just run with a story and just say, oh, this must be how it went. No, I multiple verify every which way I can. In my limited experience, I'm not a professional at this. I'm just trying to cover these stories that are not getting told. Nicola Bulley's, her story deserves to be told. There was something there that led to this. And I want to be a voice for the victim. I want to be a voice for you to let you know this is what could go wrong in this crazy world we live in. So when I get this information, I do my best to verify before sharing it with you. So this is his words that are said to be in the media. These are his words, and he is calling himself a spiritualist, a medium. I'm sorry if you hear the ambulance. As I was on here, I did hear a car crash right outside there. So I pray that everyone is okay out there. But that's what you hear. I literally just heard this car crash. But focusing on, he is saying that he's a medium, a spiritualist, and the police doesn't normally come across. Those are his words in the media. I'm just relaying those messages to you. He says, it is also important to mention, I was not asked by the police or Nicola's family to become involved in this case, but having seen the wild speculation and hurtful commentary that has been ongoing and having previously assisted in the recovery of Michael Brooks, I decided to use whatever gift it is we mediums possess to try and locate Nicola Bulley. I would, however, stress again, I cannot confirm that body we traced yesterday is that of the lady in question. Again, it has since been confirmed. He shares, my thoughts and prayers are with her family, friend, and loved ones at this time, and I do hope that if it is needed, Nicola, they can find some peace with this. If it is not, I would send my prayers to the family of whomsoever it may be. Rest in peace, Nicola Bulley. You can see here with the medium and a friend with the police. And he also shares, I would add as a final note, I will not be given any further information or commentary at this time regarding the work involved in finding this person, nor is it my place to engage in any discussion on how that body came to originally be in the water. Mr. Rothwell, again, according to his Facebook page, he is a spiritual medium. This is him and his friend on the side of the road. Now, Lancashire Police, they had said in a statement earlier that procedures to identify the body were ongoing and no formal identification had yet been carried out. They are unable to say whether this is Nicola Bulley at this time. So that was their first statement. And then they held a press conference as part of the missing person investigation, and it was discovered in the reads of the Wire yesterday morning that the body was there. This is less than a mile from where she disappeared 3 weeks ago. Sorry if I said over a mile. I might have said a mile and less than a half. Less than a mile and a half. That would still be correct. But it sounds like it was even less than a mile from where she disappeared 3 weeks ago. And this discovery raises yet more questions about the Lancashire Police investigation. 3 weeks to find her body in that water? This is that's how long it took. And even other experts are said to have been in that water, right? Mr. Ansell and the couple's two daughters, both 6 and 9, they were holding out hope until we found this information out that it had been confirmed. And they found the body yesterday morning, or should I say Sunday, February 19th, which was yesterday of this. And you may be aware of police activity around the river, that they were looking for. I hope that we are live. This seems like it might be a little... I have to double check something, the luxuries of being live, But it does look like we are still live. Thank you so much. And because I saw something a little odd. But when you're looking at this case and you think, what could have led to this? This is something that is always asked. What could have led to this, especially Lancashire Police's not having answers for 3 weeks and then someone else finding them? That is a little interesting on its own. Suella Braverman, she shared that there's more pressure on Lancashire Police by revealing that she was not wholly satisfied with their explanation for revealing Nicola Bulley her battle with alcohol problems and the menopause. Now, Suella Braverman, she's the Home Secretary in the area, in the Northwest, and she shared that the Lancashire's Chief Constable, Chris Rowley, had failed to properly answer her questions. And she also said that she will see what the force's own inquiries come back with when she's asked, when she shares an external review into their handling of Nikki's case. And so they're going to be digging into that as well, allegedly. Because they had shared early on that, they're sharing personal information about Nicola and her battle with an alcohol problem and her struggle with menopause. And so the detectives, they were facing a lot of criticism for sharing that personal information. And now the police confirmed that the body that was found is Nicola Bulley. And here you have the Home Secretary. She's wanting answers as well. And she's criticizing the Lancashire Police. Now, asked if there would be an external review into their handling of the case, she said, I want to put on record my deepest thoughts and sympathies for the family of Nicola Bulley. It must be a horrendous experience that they are going through right now. I did have concerns earlier in the week about some of the elements relating to the release of personal information of Nicola into the public domain. I raised those concerns with the Chief Constable. I wasn't wholly satisfied. I have to say, with some of the responses I got, but it is a matter for the police themselves. There are some investigations ongoing looking into how the investigation has been handled, and we must let that carry out its own process. We must just let the investigation conclude, and then we will see what the investigations and inquiries come back with. Now, she shared in a statement to discuss a new raft of proposals aimed at tackling domestic abuse. But there is no said domestic abuse around here. We don't know anything about that yet, right? If there is something, it'll probably come out. She shared, I'm changing the law to ensure that there's more robust monitoring of perpetrators of domestic abuse. We are introducing measures to ensure that we will be able to handle handle those type of things and tag offenders of domestic abuse, and be able to also be adding offenders of domestic abuse onto the violence and SEX offenders register. I don't want to share that word. All police chiefs and forces around the country will now be put on a footing to deal with violence against women and girls as a national threat. That's what she is sharing, that they are battling, they're fighting, basically for their country, it sounds like. The family said in their statement that Ms. Bulley would not have wanted this, and there was anger that the information was released weeks after she vanished in the village of St. Michael's on Wyre. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I keep forgetting to look that up. Is it Wyre or Wyre? Wyre sounds like it makes more sense. But she had vanished on January 27th on Wyre or Wyre, Lancashire. And one diving expert even spoke out during this search. And you can see another map. This is from Daily Mail, and I believe the other one might have been as well. But you can see the last sighting, and you can also see where she was said to be found. And the diving expert who was even doing his search, if you notice, I've shared Peter Falding and his specialist group. They had scoured the river for 3 days after she vanished, and they found no trace of Miss Bulley. But now she is said to have been located after being reported missing, and people searching and the police searching. She's now been located. And she was said to be located in Reeds, which is a mile from where she went missing. And Mr. Falding, he's a registered specialist in the National Crime Database, and he did not find anything. He even used his high-tech, which is an expensive sonar that can scan in the water, but it doesn't travel through the reeds. So it didn't get that far, is my guess. I'm guessing that he should have equipment for. I would think that would be a no-brainer if she got caught somewhere there. Like, not a no-brainer in the search that, not where, like, to. The fact that she could go down into there if she had fallen into the water, if she had drowned in there, and then her body was carried somewhere, I would think that you would check all over. Like, how close could they have been to that reed? Right? How close could they have been to that reed? And then turned around. And so Mr. Falding, before confirmation, he had said, although identification has not been formally confirmed, I would like to say my thoughts are with the family and friends of Nicola Bulley at this very difficult time. The SGI underwater search team was tasked with searching the river upstream of their weir in the non-tidal part of the river, past the bench where Nicola's phone was found and a mile upstream past this point, for 3 days using high-frequency side side scan sonar, we thoroughly searched the riverbed and can categorically confirm that Nicola was not laying on that riverbed on the days that we searched. We did search the stretch of river where Nicola was allegedly found for 4 hours on our first day and then upstream past the Wyre on the subsequent 2 days. The police underwater search teams and land search teams were searching for 3 full weeks and were also unable to find Nicola. Unfortunately, it was a member of the public that made a grim discovery, unconfirmed as yet to be Nicola. Sadly, the discovery was not found in the river, but in the reeds at the side of the river, which was not part of our remit at the side scan sonar. Does not penetrate reeds above or below the water. A riverbank and wade search would be the only way to search this area, and we were not involved or tasked with that search. The difference between these two search areas has caused a lot of confusion and unfair criticism towards myself and my team as Specialist Group International. You heard it, that was his words as they were searching and no one knew where Nicola Bulley had went. And you can see a picture of the bench that she was seen at. And this is Mr. Peter Faulding here. He also shares my previous comment saying that if Nicola was in the river, I would find her still stand. My team and I at SGI did all we could to assist this family with only our best intentions. I am sure I can say this of everyone who has been involved in this difficult search. I will say that I still feel that he should, I do feel that why wasn't that searched? That question to me remains. Why didn't he? He says it's 2 different teams. It should have been one team looking for her. Now, if he only was to be in the water, she was in the water. So I can't defend him. Not that he should take a lot of heat. Maybe this is part of criticism. I can't really defend him. I feel like she was in the river. Assuming that I'm getting this right. She was in the river. You were to search the river. If your sonar doesn't go into there, how does I don't know. Who's supposed to find her if Mr. Peter Faulding and his sonar group at SGI, he was to search the river. Is that not correct? Let me know in the comments what you think. That's my thought on that. But he's saying that we did 2 different things. They did theirs, we did ours. If she was in our part, we would have found her. That's the problem, is that you only search a particular part. You didn't search the whole river. Was this in the river? I thought she was still found in the river. Now, his defense, this comes as former Scotland Yard superintendent was sharing that, that he was actually backing Mr. Faulding. Nusrat Metab, he says that, he backs or she backs him. She said some serious questions need to be asked about Lancashire's police decision making. How did they miss that? There were 3 searches and a private search as well. They didn't share that information with the private search about the vulnerabilities, yet they went on to share it with the wider public. They didn't seem to be able to get a grip on what was happening. Police said initially they were unable to confirm whether the body recovered on Sunday but then they did later confirm. Now, a spokesman said at that time before, we were called today at 11:36 a.m. to reports of a body in the River Wyre close to Rawcliffe Road. An underwater search team and specialist officers have subsequently attended the scene, entered the water, and have sadly recovered a body. And that's where, obviously they would cordon off everything, but now it's now it's time for other questions to be answered. Because why are all these people filming the police near it and getting it out there? Well, it actually makes sense. And they're even referring to some of it as TikTok ghouls, as they're filming police near the spot where her body was found in search for her. And then amateur detectives, they start posting all these clips claiming to show the officers. But then, of course, you get all these sidekicks and vigilantes tormenting the family because of the way, like, oh, here everyone's looking for her and then she has all, like, why do people do that? I mean, you're talking about, and this is the media referring to them as TikTok ghouls. And this is like that man who was arrested. Was this the same guy that was arrested is also now the medium? Because that name kind of rung a bell a little bit, but I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think. I would have to go digging, and I didn't quite dig it before. Some of this, as I'm doing this live, I start thinking of things, right? But you had people who were banned from searching this area. And then you have all this footage of something being retrieved from the riverside. Because they, of course, searching. Nicola Bulley is one of those stories that are in the headlines a lot right now. And since I had reported on it, I better stick to it. But at the same time, it's also stories like Nicola Bulley's that deserve to be heard. We don't even know all of it yet. But a missing mom of 2. That's what we know. And then we find out other vulnerabilities that she may have had. And so then you have all these TikTok ghouls, at least that's what the media is referring to them. You had even one video that had over almost 2 million views. And then you have all these clips, but it makes sense. It truly makes sense because this was a big story. And even today, the next day, they're still in the area filming, recording. I don't blame them. And of course, people are going to knock them for doing it. But it's a right way and a wrong way of doing it. You see, I'm gonna do my best from how I come off here. But there's a purpose. You can see some who know the story's big and they will spin it every which way. You have others who they're true crimers. They're sharing true crime stories with you. And they're sharing it and not just trying to monetize it only. Of course, monetization should be as part of it. Why would you put so much time into true crime? But is your goal, like right now, is your channel a true crime channel or is your channel a Nicola Bulley channel? Because you look at some of these channels and that's all you will see, Nicola Bulley stories. Because they are monetizing that one story. To me, that kind of takes away from credibility of you being a true crimer. Because right now you're a Nicola Bulley story channel, something like that. And so I believe there's a right way and a wrong way. And you be the judge. Back to the story. But I feel like we should be very careful how we approach this, because it could come off as very insensitive to this story. But at the end of the day, it's about the victim. It's about their story getting out there, not about the true crimer. What the true crimer stands for is how you get the story out there, because a story deserves to be heard. And as you dive into this story, you realize, man, this is not the outcome that we wanted. And it is some of our worst fears now being confirmed. Especially to find out, yes, it was the missing mom of two that was found yesterday in the Reed, only a mile away from where she was last said to have been. And, one of the dog walkers who found the body in the river was overheard telling police that it was a woman early on. And that's when a lot of the speculation started coming out. Because, and I showed you earlier the dog walker pointing out, but that's when it started coming out. That dog walker ended up being the medium guy. But why didn't others? Well, I still don't get why the police didn't find. But Peter Falding, he's blaming the cops. He's blaming the cops. He's not taking the blame. And this river in Lancashire, England, this flows into the Irish Sea at Fleetwood. And I've shared about Fleetwood because there was a search team there. It is 28 miles long, and it has a sheltered estuary, as Wiki would share, which penetrates deep into the Fildy Peninsula. And geographically, it is in central Lancashire. And this is where it's known to be a popular area where people go to quite a bit. And it's been around, obviously, for a long time. And I'm not going to read all of Wiki or anything like that, but it's been around for the latter part of the 20th century when it comes to the Fleetwood area. And so, obviously, this is a popular place, and she was there all the time walking her dog. Here she is with her beau. And he's devastated. He's devastated. Sure, they may have had their problems, but he's devastated. And the two kids now, they're going to have to find some answers. But she's no longer missing. Rest in peace to Nicola Bulley. Taken from this world way too soon. I don't know if taken is the right word, but she has left this world way too soon. And at this very moment, truth is, I don't know what to share because we don't even know the results of her death yet. But we know they've been searching for her for a long time. But we can definitely say, rest in peace, Nicola Bulley. My friends, thank you for joining me on another episode of Deep True Crime. Is this true crime? We don't really know. It was looking like it because no one just vanishes. But now, hopefully we can find some answers for Nicola Bulley. I know there's been speculation around a van. There's been speculation around guys looking suspicious. Maybe that has nothing to do with it. Maybe we find out that this is a homicide or something. We don't know. Maybe she slipped and drowned. There were no signs of steps there, of sliding into the water. My friends, this is bad news. This is sad news. At the end of the day, I just want you to be alert, be careful, be alert. Be alert. Look out for one another. Look out for yourself. I'm Manny Rodriguez. This has been another episode of Deep True Crime. Until next time, my friends. Peace. Have a great day. That is the Nicola